Hello everybody, this is Peter B. Today I'm going to talk about baseball cards and player positions, and also the curious case of Paul Molitor. The very first baseball card, 1869 Peck and Snyder, showed the team Cincinnati Red Stockings, all the players sitting probably on a bench. It has, with the team photo, each individual player's name and their position. And that's what it was for most of the early cards, the bigger sets. For instance, 1887, the N172 Old Judge showed the player's name, position, and team. Here is Burns, shortstop for the Brooklyns. 1887. 1888, the N162 Goodwins. Once again, name Glasscock, position shortstop. He played for Indianapolis. 1895, Mayo Cut Plug. Duffy, center field. Jersey tells us he played for Boston. So the early baseball card sets did show the player's position. Then the mid-teens, all the way through the 30s, the bigger sets did not show the player's position at all. For instance, T206, on the front was the player name and team, and on the back was just advertisement for that brand of cigarette. 1914-15 Cracker Jacks. The front showed the player and the team, but did not show the position. 1933 Gowdy, once again, shows the player, the team, but no position. Even in 1952 Topps did not show the position on the front, the player's name and team. There was no position on the front. It was on the back, however. From 1953 through 1971, Topps did show the player's name and position on the front. Some reason, Topps 1972, there was no position indicator on the front. There was on the back, but not on the front. Then they went back to putting it on the front from 73 to 86. And then all the way from 87 until now, there were on and off years where there was a position on the front and there wasn't a position on the front. Most of the time there was, however. When you're looking at a baseball card, like Topps for instance, you see like first base or second base, shortstop, third base, pitcher, catcher, outfield. They even have multiple positions if that's what the player did. For instance, here's a 1982 Topps of Larry Milbourne. And you can see he played third base, shortstop, and second base. Multiple positions indicated. Most of the Topps card gives the generic position as outfield, as in this 1978 Topps Dwight Evans. Later, there were cards that were more exact. For instance, this 95 score shows that Gerald Williams was a left fielder. 92 Dunross triple play shows Juan Gonzalez as a center fielder. 1990 score shows Hubie Brooks as a right fielder. But like I said, most of the time, it would just say outfield. And players like Jose Aquindo, who played all over the place, they gave him, in this 1990 Flair, more generic position as infield. I mean, that's what he did all over the place. So they called him infield. And through the years, there's been some strange combos. For instance, the 1990 score, John Olerud. It shows him as an outfield and a pitcher, yet the pitcher on the card clearly shows him with a first baseman's mitt. There's been player managers, for instance, Pete Rose on this 85 Flair, manager first base. There's even been other strange positions on cards, like this 81 Dunross. Shows Manny Mota as a coach and outfielder. In 1974, the designated hitter went into existence. And the very first designated hitter, because he happened to be the first one at bat, he had an early game, was Ron Blomberg of the Yankees. So in 1974, Topps could put DH on the card. And he was a DH, sometimes first baseman. The very first at-bat for a designated hitter was Ron Blomberg, 1973. This is a 74 card. Other strange positions, like pinch hitter. This is the 1989 Topps All-Star card. Pinch hitter. Probably because the National League at that time did not have the DH. The American League did, so there was a DH All-Star card for the American League. So to balance it out, they created pinch hitter for Kirk Gibson. 1989 Topps All-Star. And when you think of weird positions on a baseball card, you have to think of this guy. 1975 Topps, Herb Washington of the Oakland A's, was hired as and only was, in his baseball career, a pinch runner. Charlie Finley, the owner of the A's, took this speedster in track and field. I think at the time he had the record for like the 50-yard dash or something like that. And hired him to be strictly a pinch runner. When someone got on first, he'd put him on first and expect him to steal a base. Good idea, but didn't really work out because he is a fast runner, but he didn't have that baseball instinct of when to take the first move towards second. But probably the only player ever that will be designated as a pinch runner. 1975 Oakland A's, Herb Washington. I forget the year, Topps Archive, like 2020 or something like that, made a special insert for Jose Aquindo. I don't have any of the cards, but they were all autographed cards. They made 9 different fronts, picture on the front, for Jose Aquindo at all 9 positions. So he has 9 cards, all with a different position. But now I'm going to talk about Paul Molitor and the curious case of his position. The Baseball Hall of Fame indicates Paul Molitor was a third baseman. And yes, he did play third base, but he kind of played everywhere but pitcher and catcher. For instance, the 1991 Leaf has him as a first base, 1B, first base. The 1991 Panini Stamp has him as a first base, second base, 1B-2B. 1991 Panini Stamp. 1992 Topps Magazine has him as a first base, DH. 92 Topps Magazine. 1991 Upper Deck shows Mr. Molitor as a second baseman, a 2B, 1991 Upper Deck. 1981 Topps. Oop, wrong one, sorry. Shows him, 81 Topps, shows him as a second base, shortstop. 1981 Topps. The 1990 Baseball Card Magazine, little insert in the pages, shows him as a second base, third base, 2B-3B. And then in 82, Topps got creative because he kind of played everywhere. So they made him a second base, shortstop, outfielder. The 1982 Topps. The year before, the 1979 Topps, he was listed as just a second baseman. I mean, shortstop. SS, shortstop. 1980 Topps. They listed him as a shortstop dash second base, SS-2B. 1980 Topps. 1991 Topps. List him as a third baseman, 3B. The 2020 Topps Archives list him as third base, second base, with third base / second base all spelt out. The 2020 Topps. This one has an auto. 1988 Dunross. List him as a third base, DH, 3B/DH. 1988 Dunross. And because he played everywhere, the 1991 score gave him the generic position as infield. 1991 score. But he did play the outfield too. The 1991 U.S. playing card listed him as a center fielder. This was an actual playing card, this being the 8 of hearts, but listed him just as a center fielder. 1991 U.S. playing card. '82 Flair gave him a more generic designation, which actually a lot of the card companies did and still do today. If you're an outfielder, they just called you outfield. 1982 Flair. '82 Dunross, same year. They probably didn't know where to put him other than pitcher and catcher. So the 82 Dunross said he was a outfielder, infielder. That's basically what he did. 1982 Dunross. As he got a little bit older, the 1988 score called him a DH, indicated as DH. 1988 score. 1995 tops. Where is it? There it is. DH slash first base. DH slash 1B. 1995 tops. 1988 tops Revco. DH-3B. DH third base. There already was a third base DH, but this card indicates him just the opposite, DH third base. And even later, the 2016 Topps Heritage gave him position as manager. He was the manager of the Twins for a short time. And the 2004 Baseball Hall of Fame card. Once again, this is autographed. List him as a coach. 2004 Baseball Hall of Fame. Coach. Has a blank back in case you've never seen this card. 2004 Baseball Hall of Fame card. Paul Molitor, coach. So, if you were adding up, that's 21 different positions for Paul Molitor on baseball cards. 21 distinct, unique positions. 21. But it could get even more stranger, because you have a first base. 1B, first base. There he is, Paul Molitor. But 1991 Dunross had to spell it out. First base. The Sports Illustrated for Kids also called him first base, but did a little differently. He was a first baseman on this card. Different way of saying it, but it is different. First baseman. For the Sports Illustrated for Kids. There's a 2B already out there. Now the 91 Flair. It's spelled out as second base. There's a 3B out there. And now you have the 83 Topps. Third base, third B and 3 RD base. 1988 Topps. 83 Topps. And the 85 Flair. Instead of the 3 RD, they did the word third base. 1985 Flair. And you have a DH-3B and a 3B/DH. Well, how about a third base? Oops, sorry, wrong one. Where is he? There he is. How about a third base .DH from Mr. Molitor. And the 88 Flair. 92 Dunross. You already have a DH, but you also have a designated hitter on the 92 Dunross. 98 Upper Deck. They called them a des hitter for designated hitter. And then finally, 89 Flair. You already have a DH slash 3B and a 3B slash DH. How about a designated hitter spelt out third base on the 89 Flair? So, being strictly unique, I came up with 21 cards for different position indicated for Paul Molitor. And if you add in the different spelling and abbreviations of the cards, I came up with a total of 30 different designations for his position on various cards, various brands. There could be more out there. Let me know in your comments if you do have one that's different from what I've shown. And I hope you learned a little bit about the player positioning indicated on cards. Especially this guy right here. He's probably the most unique there ever will be. Like I said, let me know in the comments, and thank you very much, and have a good day.